And I'm going to use a little full screen to set this thing up. So we've got the Commanders, we have the Eagles. We have an all NFC East matchup in the NFC Championship game. With the Commanders making it to the NFC Championship game, the Dallas Cowboys now have by a wide margin the longest active drought of not advancing to the NFC Championship game. Not only is the number 29, do you realize the second longest drought is the Bears, who got there in 2010? So the difference is 14 years ago versus 29 years ago. The Giants, meanwhile, also play in that division, and they let Saquon Barkley walk to Philadelphia. So my question is, which team should hate this game more, the Cowboys or the Giants?
I think it's the Giants. I mean, the Cowboys have been doing this for a minute, and this specific game doesn't mean anything to them as much as it does, I would think, to Giants and Giants fans, because he was just in your room. He was just there. You was talking about you would lose sleep if you went to your rival, and now he's on the verge of having the best postseason run of any running back, and likely to get to
John Mara hasn't slept all season.
No.
He literally telegraphed, like, what is my worst case scenario? Do not let this happen.
Played out.
I get that part of it. I get that John Mara hates this more than anyone, and Joe Shane hates it more than anyone, and Brian Daboll hates it more than anyone. I will say this, as a lifelong fan of a team that never wins anything, I think that there should be Giant fans that are rooting for Saquon Barkley. After all the years he gave you, after all the things he did for you, those people who were burning his jersey when he came back, that was an absolute disgrace. There are Giant fans who should be rooting for Saquon.
Agreed. The question is which team.
I understand that.
For a team, the Giants. You listen. You had him, and you knew the dumbest thing you could do was let our guy go. They let him walk out of the building, and then he road stomps you. And by the way, he called his own tap out, so he didn't humiliate you even more, which just makes him look so much kinder and gentler than all the other knuckleheads who did him dirty.
Okay. For the last of the answer the questions, I'm going to turn it over to our friend Mel Kiper Jr. Cindy, let's play it. This is what Mel said a few minutes ago here live for those of you who are just joining us. And then my question is going to be, do you think he's right? This was Mel assessing the performance of Jayden Daniels this year.
Jayden's been, and I've said this all along, all year, I say he's the fifth best quarterback in the NFL right now. I said it a long time ago. He was playing at the fifth best quarterback level. Number 1's Patrick Mahomes. Number 2's Lamar Jackson. 3 is Josh Allen. 4 is Joe Burrow. And 5 is Jayden Daniels. He's right now the fifth best quarterback in the NFL, and there's 4 Grand Slams at quarterback. No more, just 4. Now there's 5 with Jayden Daniels.
So answer the question. Is he right? Is Jayden Daniels already, as a rookie, the fifth best quarterback in the National Football League?
He's certainly the quarterback I would want fifth. I think his one season of body of work is hard to make him fifth best, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. I think because what he's doing right now, it's so hard. And when I talk about quarterback evaluations, rookie guys, I think that the situation matters more than the quarterback. You go through the history of quarterbacks that have had success in this league, most of them have started in really good situations. There's a couple that haven't, Joe Burrow, and right now, Jayden Daniels. He started in a bad situation, and to have not just success, this man's a game away from the Super Bowl against a team that he has actually beaten in the past. This is outrageous. So, I think I might have to say 1 year was enough for me.
To be clear, he would be the first rookie quarterback ever to start a Super Bowl if he does it.
I mean, that's significant. The way Jayden Daniels has played suggests that he is a top 5 quarterback. To your point, the hard part is with 1 year of body of work and then the sophomore year where everyone kind of gets the tapes on you and then they throw everything at you is kind of when we really see where you're at. You see how it kind of worked with C.J. Stroud very similarly. But that being said, you look for guys that have such a handle on the game, and Jayden Daniels is 3, 4, 5 years more advanced than we've ever seen a rookie quarterback. So even the Matt Stafford argument, I'm kind of turning myself to say, I still feel good about Jayden Daniels as a guy.
I totally respect the longevity, the veteranness of Matt Stafford. But just consider what Jayden is doing. Not only did he knock off Baker and Todd Bowles, Dan Campbell and Jared Goff. Now he has a chance to take down Jalen and Nick Sirianni and a chance to face Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Like what we are seeing when you talk about things that we've never seen, it's bigger than
You're trying to help my argument.
Yeah, when you run it back that way, you ran Baker and Jared Goff. Now I'm like, okay, you're hurting.
No, Jared Goff and Dan Campbell were
to
15
go into Detroit.
and 2
Listen,
this
when
year.
that game, wait a second. Wait a second. Watching that game on TV, as special as it was to watch it, to be there in that building, to see a rookie quarterback go down the field each and every time Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions would score, Jalen Daniels said, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to get this lead back for us. Every time it's the fourth quarter or overtime and you need a play, he's not managing games. You're not saying, hey, rookie, this is not, I love Mark Sanchez. This is not Mark Sanchez like, hey, lean on the run game, lean on your defense, lean on your offense. It is, hey, Rook, take us to the promised land. And each time he delivers.
Yeah, it's been special. When we talked about it before, I would tell you, as much as I respect it, we're not talking about body of work. We're talking about right now. And if you were not because he didn't play, but because of all the intangibles Daniels is bringing to you, right? I mean, you have the youthfulness, you have decision making early on in his career, you have his legs, what he can do with his legs, with his all of those parts that go into what has made Jayden Daniels so special this season. It doesn't, like, there will be an adjustment that defense coordinators will make to him, like every quarterback, right? He'll have to go through. But right now, the way he sees it in his decisions, he makes decisions like a vet makes decisions, and that's just rare. Not only that, but the ball placement within that. His ball placement, that ground catch, the McLaurin, he puts the ball exactly. It's not like somebody's having to stretch to make it. He continues to put the ball and make it easier for his teammates. Right. That's what separates us.
We have explanations for all the other, even the great quarterbacks, for like why they've fallen short. Go get him a real receiver. Right. Get him an offensive line. His defense ain't good enough. All those things are true for Jayden Daniels too. And you know where he is? He's in the Final Four. Right. It's really hard, and it's none of this is gimmicky. Like there's no scheme that he hasn't seen. There's no blitz that his skill set and his deep ball accuracy and athleticism can't overcome.
Right. A dual threat puts him over the top. And even the Matt Stafford point, like Matt Stafford, I feel so good about because he's been in the league for so long and he has seen so much. When it makes it feel like he has a deep control, which all the top four have. So for Jayden Daniels to be that way as a rookie,
that's what I'm saying.
That does probably give him an edge.
You want to know what he's done? Do you know how much fun we always make of the Cowboys? We just did it. How long it's been? Do you know that the Commanders were the team that had been longer up until this week? The last time the Washington, they weren't known as the Commanders then, obviously, made the NFC Championship game was 1991.
It was 91.
Oh, wow. This
91
franchise has redefined the word moribund. You can't be worse than they've been. And he has single-handedly brought them to this.
Because it's not we're not just talking about football. We're not just talking about football when we talk about the Washington Commanders. That organization was a cesspool. If you spend any time around it during the Dan Snyder tenure, you understand what that organization was and what it was mired in. So for him to come in with new ownership, new head coach, new vision, new leadership, and to do what he's doing, that is the context that also is needed.
It also makes the name It also makes the name cooler. Don't you think about the Washington Commanders differently now?
Mandos, stand up, Mandos.
All right, coming up, we're talking about another great quarterback. Johnny Mack with the ball in his hand. Okay, we all love that open. Here we go. It is time to answer the question. Dominic Foxworth, I will propose a series of hard-hitting, provocative football questions, and you will have to answer them whether you're ready to or not. Here we go with number one. Dominique, 10 years from today, where will we view Lamar Jackson in relation to Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be right there with Allen and Burrow. The start that Mahomes has gotten off to and the trajectory of his career, I think he's going to separate himself from the rest of these guys. There'll be a few other Super Bowls won by these other guys, 2 or 3 by between the rest of them, but I think Lamar Jackson is right in there with them. His regular season accomplishments, though, that could set him apart. If he's able to get a Super Bowl or 2, then we could have a conversation where it's where it's Mahomes and Jackson and then some other dudes.
Being a 3-time MVP would in and of itself, assuming it happens, would in and of itself be a separator and would be historically significant. There's not too many guys who have won those. So what do you guys think? If you were to, right now, for power ranking where we're expecting these guys to wind up, I mean, it's a big 4, and we'll dive into Mel's choice for the 5th.
Yep.
But if there's one guy who we think, see, Michael Jordan's a bad analogy because no one ever presented themselves as a legitimate rival to him. If there's one guy who's going to wind up being that to Mahomes, which of the three do you think it's going to be?
Jeez, man, that's so tough. Like the one guy who like stares down the barrel every time he plays him is Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But Joe Burrow doesn't have the regular season success that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson will have. If Lamar Jackson gets a Super Bowl, I'm like Neek. I think it's Mahomes, Jackson, and then everybody else. Yeah. The last 7 years, if Lamar wins this year, in the last 7 years in the NFL, 3 guys have won the MVP.
Right.
Lamar, Aaron Rodgers, and Mahomes. That's nuts.
Right.
The problem with Burrow is the institutional stability that they lack there. As good as he is, that organization just can't seem to get right more consistently enough.
And the issue is that Lamar and Joe Burrow are in the same division, right? So you are constantly going up against the other great quarterback in your division before you can even get to the Josh Allen, to get to the Patrick Mahomes.
I would say that Josh Allen, for me, because Josh Allen has played well against him in the playoffs already. I mean, he's already he's walked off the field where you thought it's over. And, Mahomes makes this miraculous with Travis Kelce, that whole deal. He's walked off the field feeling like, hey, I've been better. And we unfortunately couldn't close the game, but you got to close it.
He's still got a chance to do it this weekend. Burrow did actually go in there and beat him.
Win.
There was a moment in time where we wanted to call that Burrowhead Stadium.
The Cincinnati Bengals players were calling that Burrowhead.
Yeah.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
I'm moving on that Joe Burrow. My favorite clip of all.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Mình lại quay lại đây. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tô màu những sản phẩm này đây. Các bạn hãy xem thật kỹ nha. Đây là những sản phẩm mình chưa tô. Những sản phẩm mình tô màu xong thì chắc chắn nó sẽ rất là đẹp. Tại vì mình có hộp sáp màu này. Sáp màu này của mình nó giúp